Hi, my name is Lacey, and I decided to do my disease presentation on type 1 diabetes. And just a quick overview of diabetes if you need a refresher or you don't have prior knowledge of it. Diabetes is complications in insulin that result in hyperglycemia. Insulin is a hormone produced by beta cells in the pancreas, and it has a multitude of functions, but the one in particular that's of interest for diabetes is that it acts during the postprandial state to remove glucose from the bloodstream that is in the blood in excess quantities because you just ate. And what occurs when there's complications is that insulin isn't acting as good as it should be, or it's not present at all. So glucose is in the blood in large quantities past the homeostatic range. And this leads to hyperglycemia, which then has a multitude of problems associated with that. And there are several types of diabetes. Type 1 is what I will be talking about today. There's also type 2 diabetes, which is insulin resistance occurs. This often happens later in life in either the animal or person. And then there's also gestational diabetes, which can occur during pregnancy. So type 1 occurs because there's little or no insulin production by beta cells. And the causes aren't completely known, but here are some of the ideas that are floating around in the first two are the main two associated. The first one is an autoimmune reaction occurs, and it's believed that for whatever reason, a person with type 1 diabetes, its immune system attacks beta cells in the pancreas, and this leads to either no insulin production or very little insulin production, and this is genetically linked. This third bullet doesn't happen as often. It's either viruses or environmental factors. Environmental factors can be something like pancreas injury, as you can see in the one figure that explains those two types. This is more rare. And an interesting thing about type 1 diabetes is it was often referred to as juvenile diabetes because it occurred and was diagnosed often in children or young animals. However, this last bullet point changed that, and people can in fact get diagnosed later in life and have these issues later in life. And diabetes can actually be seen in multiple areas of the animal kingdom for type 1. Humans can have it, but also various pets can have it. Cats, dogs are the big ones. For dogs, it's actually the #1 kind of diabetes that dogs can have. And also this branches out to other animals. Apes have been shown to have type 1 diabetes, same with pigs. This is restricted to mammalia and only certain types of mammalia. I did read an interesting article that said possibly reptiles. However, it's poorly understood and researched, and if it does occur, it's super rare. So for our intents and purposes, it's humans and mainly pets and some other animals. So for the human model, here is a list of some of the symptoms that may occur. If somebody is experiencing type 1 diabetes, there's increased thirst and frequent urination. To build on that, there may also be large deposits of sugar or glucose in urination. And a person may also experience weight loss, fatigue, or blurred vision. And I decided to constrict the symptoms for the animals into just cats and dogs, since this is highly related to veterinary science and there's more information about this and is what is more prevalent compared to an organism like a pig. So for cats and dogs, a lot of the symptoms are the same as for humans. The excess urination, again, increased weight loss, but also your pet may begin to show lethargy and have decreased morale, and it's unable to jump like it used to, and there might be vomiting as well. And all of these can be concerns and may lead to a potential diagnosis in type 1 diabetes. So treatments. There is no cure for type 1 diabetes, unfortunately. There's still a lot in that part of diabetes that is getting developed today because it does affect so many animals and people. but there are some management tactics. Infamously, there's insulin shots, and then you can also measure glucose with a glucose meter, and this is done in humans and pets. For dogs that have type 1 diabetes, that's pretty severe and may have to occur after every meal that the dog eats. Same with people. And you may also get prescribed a certain exercise and diet to help manage your type 1 diabetes if you're either a pet or a human. And then there are also specific medications, oral medications that may help. This is highly researched in humans, so there's a lot more in humans. There are a few in pets, but mainly animals are prescribed insulin shots by their veterinarians. And thank you for watching my disease presentation. I hope you learned a little bit about type 1 diabetes.